What are some harmless ways to fuck with people? Carefully step over a non-existing obstacle. Say no pun intended after a sentence where there was clearly no pun. When you shake someone's hand, move yours left to right. As they do the traditional up and down, a hilarious circle ensues. I put a tiny piece of masking tape over my coworker's mouse laser on April Fool's Day one year, wrote April Fools on it. He troubleshot every single thing except examining the mouse. He eventually called IT, who simply turned the mouse over and pointed it out to him. Don't turn around when you walk into a lift. When having a conversation during a meal, specifically only ask questions to people that are chewing. ETA, I was never a server, but had this taught to me by a dear friend of mine years ago when we used to eat in a public cafeteria and mess with people we just met. Whenever I visit my extended family across the country, I bring a bag full of random remotes that I don't use anymore. Just random remotes that go to old DVRs or anything really. Just hide them around their house, they only recently caught on. If I know someone is walking a little ways behind me and I turn a corner with nobody else around, I like to run 10 to 20 steps to widen the gap and then laugh to myself thinking that the person behind me will be confused. I doubt anyone ever notices, but I get a kick out of it every time. I know someone who always takes an item to a party and leaves it somewhere in the house, a trinket/tchotchke. After giving a compliment, say no offense and watch them struggle to find the non-existent insult. When driving, I like to wave at random people as if I knew them. Hilarious to see instant confusion on their faces. My friend was logged into his Twitter on my tablet, so I kept changing his profile picture to a banana. He thought someone hacked him and tweeted about it. I replied to the tweet using his profile. It got so bad he was arguing with himself on Twitter. Say high five to someone, but don't put your hand up. When you're talking to someone, just keep handing them random items. They'll just keep taking them without realizing it. When I was a corrections officer, we had a guy who worked with us who was kind of a dick to everyone, and he was computer illiterate. We took a screenshot of his desktop and moved all of his icons off of it so it looked legit, but nothing worked. It took him an hour before he finally called IT and they figured it out pretty quickly. He wouldn't talk to any of us for about a week. Oh man, do I have a story. In my freshman year of college, my roommate was a very neat and orderly person. He had every pencil in place, every paper had a folder, and his things got neatly packed away. We were pretty amicable towards one another, even with my messy living. At first, when he would leave for classes, I would admire how tidy his desk was and thought to myself I should fuck with that. For the whole year we lived together, I would sneak use staples everywhere on his stuff. Homework folder? Staple. Pencil case? Staple. Backpack? Staple. Shower caddy? You bet that pube-infested bar of soap got a staple on it. Hell, even the TV remote got a staple in it between the batteries, so when they died he would eventually find another. I did it often but was careful to space the staple events far enough apart to not raise suspicion on myself. I further protected myself by making a huge deal of having to borrow the across-the-hall neighbor's stapler whenever I needed to bind papers together. About March of our second semester he had become insanely suspicious of anybody with a stapler and watched them like a hawk. The straw that broke the camel's back, I had asked him one night what his plans were under the guise of having a companion over for a visit. He said after dinner he had to go check out some obscure book at the library. When he left and headed to the dining hall, I snuck off to the library, found the obscure book he needed, and clicked a staple into it. He gets back to the dorm room and I'm doing homework in the same spot when he had left an hour earlier, claiming the meetup didn't end up happening. He sits down at his desk and opens up his newly rented book and I hear that staple fall out onto his desk. All I hear after that is, yo, where the fuck all these goddamn staples coming from? I revealed myself after graduation when I mailed him a birthday card with a used staple in it. Thankfully he got the biggest kick out of the card and we still talk daily. TLDR, I put used staples in, on, and around my roommate's things. My grandpa does this thing where he stops in the busy street and starts staring into the sky as if he's seen something amazing. It doesn't take long for other people to stop and stare too. Once he's reaches critical mass he quietly slips away chuckling to himself. Edit, he's in his 90s now, but when he was a teenager he was a bit of a young tearaway and had a pet monkey, which is weird considering this was the UK. Edit 2, holy crap, this blew up overnight, and on my cake day too. I saw someone on Facebook comment on a picture that the three of you look great. There were 4 people in the picture. Every other week or so I'd change which side my coworker's drill's belt clip was on, 2 screws and 30 seconds for a maddening payout. I'd if he ever caught on, as he sadly passed away last year. I got a huge kick out of doing it though. Might bring that one back as most of us share the same brand of drill. He got a great one on me. Every day or two he'd hide a Magic the Gathering card in my toolbox, never the same spot twice. Genuinely made me mad when I'd pick something up only to see another card hidden beneath. Eventually I had enough cards to completely cover his locker door inner and outer. He never took them off. Even cut out cards to fit the vents on the locker. I spent a good hour or two on my day off making it. Proud of that one. R.I.P. Chris. Pranks haven't been the same since you left. Your locker still remains covered in magic cards and nobody has questioned it to this day. Buy a set of voice-activated or motion-activated stickers from Amazon, and the possibilities are endless. The movie theater in my town is usually mostly empty. There's been a couple of times when I've come in to get seated and there's literally only one other person in my auditorium. There's an evil part of me that wants to just go sit right next to them. Not illegal, but it should be. I'm a huge fan of just handing somebody something without any explanation and walking away. Look at their forehead, ear, or chin during the entire conversation. Call in sick to a place you don't work. At the deli, ask for the most human-tasting meat they have. Go to the grocery store and ask for gomber. You know, it's kind of red, and you put it on mayo sandwiches. Ask if they like your perfume and get them to smell your neck, wrist, ankle, or other body part. Don't actually be wearing any perfume. Keep correcting them on the pronunciation of your name, even when they are saying it correctly every time. It works best if you are standing, but use your judgment. Gradually lower the volume of your voice. Others will match your volume and they tend to move closer. Wait for your moment and just start speaking in a normal or slightly louder than normal voice. Shout at friends from far away, like at a concert, but gibberish. When they say, "What?" Slowly, phonetically, repeat the gibberish. See how many times they ask, "What?" before either just agreeing or if you get bored, just randomly go, "Okay." Like you agreed to something. "Hey Roy, yeah? Have you Roddy the scan bake on triangle?" "What, have you? Roddy the scan bake on tri hang gull?" "What, the scan bake at all? Yes/no? What, okay. I will, thanks." This one is harmless but occasionally can drive someone mad. My mom has a bunch of framed family photos hanging on a wall. One day I was visiting, I took them all down and scanned them with a little hand scanner. I photoshopped small changes on them, removed some people from some photos, added a couple of celebrities in the background, etc. Print them out and replace them a few days later. I can't forget her face when she realized it was me and she was not losing it. My neighbor got an expensive new camera for his front door. Randomly, for the last several months, I have covered myself in a black cloak, including face, crawled up into camera view, and left a random harmless object, a carrot, spool of thread, 3 ink pens with the caps mixed up, dumb meaningless things. On camera, a dark shape appears and disappears leaving a random object behind. It is driving his silly ass crazy. I love mistakenly pronouncing words mid-sentence only to pronounce them correctly moments later. When they ask what your favorite song or band is, tell them you don't like music. When they ask why, say because there are no pictures like movies and TV shows. When at work, tell someone, "I'm going to the bathroom, do you need anything?" One thing I do is when someone asks directions, I say something like, "If you take a left out of the parking lot, and go down to the light, then turn right, you'll be going the wrong direction." It's actually, give correct directions. Put up a lost and found poster for your lost fish. Something I did in high school, I randomly found a half of a crayon on the ground. I managed to slip it into the pocket of a guy I knew. A few minutes later he discovered said crayon and rather loudly said "WTF?" and tossed it away. I wandered over, picked it up, and snuck it back into his pocket when he wasn't paying attention. A few minutes go by and he finds it again. Even more confused, he throws it again and wanders off. I managed to repeat the situation twice more before I couldn't stop laughing and he noticed me going to pick it up. He was really starting to question his sanity by the end. Other things you can do. Fill a gas can with water and punch a hole in the bottom. Then walk down the street smoking a cigar. Fill an inflated date with helium and chase it down the street yelling "Come back you tramp." Fill a large mayonnaise jar with vanilla pudding and sit someplace eating it with a spoon. Ask a question and when they are a few words into answering ask "Huh?" Edit. For PSA. Hide something around their house. My weapon of choice was tiny rubber ducks. Open a drawer? Duck. I need a spoon. Duck. Lovely picture of their wedding with a nice frame? Duck on top. Charging box? Duck. Bubble bath? Duck. Seldom used shoes? Duck. Winter coat pocket they won't use for months? Duck. It's ducking delightful how much mileage you can get out of tiny ducks. PSA. Be extremely cautious in the case of households containing animals and small children. Both like putting little things in their mouths and other orifices, so might be best to avoid ducking these individuals / ensuring things are definitely out of reach. When someone asks for the time. "Excuse me, do you know what time it is?" "Yes." "Yes what?" "Yes sir." I do this every so often because it's kind of a game to me to see how long I can keep it up till the person catches on. I repeat the last word the person says in question form. Example. Hey, me and Jenny are headed to Jim's Pizza Hut. Jim's Pizza Hut? Yeah, you know the one on F Street. F Street? Over there near the harbor with the big carousel. Carousel? Yeah, you know the one you went with me and Jane. Jane? My girlfriend. Girlfriend? Okay, what the fuck is wrong with you? Once they call you out and have caught on the game ends. I've carried on a conversation over an hour once doing this. It's really awesome when the person you are doing it to has gone through this a few times with you. My daughter has gotten me a few times herself and she'll laugh on and off for the day at my expense. Her husband has called me an ass for teaching this to her a few times too. If someone asks for your name, saying something like Jack, but with only one P. I was talking with a supervisor and I happened to have like 4 hard-boiled eggs in my jacket pocket for lunch. So while talking with stuff, I took out an egg, cracked and shelled it and ate it. The conversation kept going so I did it again but I could see he was growing quizzical. I waited a few more minutes, pulled out another and ate that too. By then I could tell he was like WTF. The conversation was wrapping up so I pulled the last one out and he stopped mid-conversation and asked me, how many fsking eggs do you have? I just shrugged, shelled, and then ate the last egg. I have a secondary remote that my kids don't know about. Sometimes I'll stand out of sight and turn up the volume or hit back when they select something to watch. It's pretty funny. When someone knocks on the public washroom door and respond with come in. I mess with colleagues during meetings by controlling how they sit. You copy everything they do to start, they lean back, you lean back, etc. Then, slowly, take the lead. If they are sitting back, sit forwards. I have managed to start mini Mexican waves of people moving back and forth in meetings. My dad used to have this game with a friend. They embarrassed me endlessly when I was a teen, but that was a bonus. Basically, when they were walking in the street, whenever they were passing someone, they would say things like, remember, when you pushed your mother-in-law down the stairs? Or, I mean, it wasn't that much drug, usually I carry way more than that. Or, where did you hide the knife after stabbing him? You get the idea. Anything absolutely awful as if they were having an entire conversation about drugs, murder, whatever. My dad and his friend had the whole hippie look as well, so innocent passers-by would quickly cross the street. Say, never mind when someone interrupts you. It will make them more curious about what you wanted to say. Works really well with my siblings. Sometimes when you do like online quizzes they'll ask for an email to send the results to. I like to put random people that I know instead. When someone is talking to you, look right over top of their head. Keep the conversation going but look right over them. There was a story on Reddit a while back where a guy was refilling his wife's ketchup bottle so that it was constantly almost empty. For months, years? She would use the same bottle and he waited for the day she noticed that it never emptied. She bounced the bottle off his head when he revealed his game. Edit. I found it. Looks like it was only for a few weeks. Still a fun read. https://www.reddit.com/r/tifu/comment/314ok1/tip_my_wife_that_long_con/. In high school at track practice we stole one of our friend's car keys. It was old enough it didn't have a chip inside. We drove to Home Depot and got a copy made and returned his keys. Every day at practice we would move his car to a different parking spot but in the same lot. Mail someone a red golf ball every week for a while. Then mail them a green golf ball and stop. I used to hum an off-pitch note in orchestra rehearsals while the violins were getting their tuning note. Looking anywhere but at them when talking to them. When waiting for the light to turn green, particularly for a left turn, manually use the blinker at a completely erratic rhythm. Call one of those "How's my driving" bumper sticker numbers and let them know that their driving is wonderful. God, I love this post. Text them turn around when you're not near them. My grandpa glued a quarter to his driveway near the sidewalk and sits in his living room and watches people try to pick it up. I didn't know this till I found a quarter in the driveway one time. Mail them a flip-flop or a tortilla. No package box, just stamps directly on it, no return address. Walk up to a couple of your coworkers. Say, I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you. Walk away. Put a post-it on the bottom of their computer mouse. If two neighbors have opposite political signs during an election, swap them. When my husband pours his coffee into his mug and turns around to get milk out of the refrigerator, I pour his coffee back into the coffee pot or into my mug. I cackle as I run out of the room. When my coworkers would leave their laptops unlocked, I'd make their backgrounds a picture of a capybara with an orange on its head. Classic. Edit. Picture here, https://i0.wp.com/boing-net/wp-content/upload/2019/04/cappy.jpg? Fit equals 641% 2C337 and SSL equals 1 https://i0.wp.com/boingboing.net/wp-content/upload/2019/04/cappy.jpg? Fit equals 641% 2C337 and SSL equals 1. And the honorable mention, https://www.rainforestalliance.org/wp-content/upload/2021/06/capybara-square1.jpg.optimal.jpg https://www.rainforestalliance.org/wp-content/upload/2021/06/capybara-square1.jpg.optimal.jpg. When using the military phonetic alphabet, I'll use all the right ones except Q. A as in alpha, G as in golf, Q as in cucumber. Cucumber starts with C. Oh, that's a sea cucumber, I meant a regular one. I mispronounce famous people's names constantly, then say it correctly randomly so they never know what to expect. Billy Eilish, John Legends, Jason Ackles. When I order coffee and they ask for the name, I say green, like the sky. When someone is behind you while walking through the door, don't hold it for them, just look them in the eye and close it. Saw it on a reel or SMTH. My favorite thing to do at my coffee shop job is wait until we have a line, tell the first few customers to have a good day loudly enough for the rest of the line to hear, and then tell exactly one customer enjoy your drink instead. 90% of the time they hit me with a you too and I just smile and nod, content in the knowledge that they'll cringe about that for the rest of the day. If you ever have a moment with their computer or cell phone, use their search engine to look for a bunch of nonsense products and then erase the search history. The algorithm will think they have an interest in said products and put a bunch of ads recommending them for the next few days. If something falls to the ground with an audible slam or sound, I let out a short scream as if it hit me. Save all the white Smarties candy and fill an aspirin bottle. Dump out a handful and start chewing them. This is one of my favorite threads ever. Save to commit these to memory. Hold a door open when they're just a little bit too far away. Most people will do a funny little waddle run. When having a conversation with someone, just start handing them anything within reach. You have to be subtle, like grab the thing, hold on to it for a while without acknowledging it, maintain normal eye contact, then hand it to them while they're talking. I love doing that. The victim usually ends up taking what's offered and holding on to it until they finish their thought and they're like, "Why did you give me this?" "I know, why'd you take it?" "Tee hee." Move everything over 2 inches. While going up the chairlift at a ski resort, my friend and I would call out to someone under the chairlift, call them a random name and yell, "We'll wait for you at the top." Usually the person would spend time trying to explain to us they weren't who we thought they were. We'd act like we couldn't hear them and insist we'd wait for them at the top. This one doubles as an LPT. When you're in a place where you can't walk away, such as a bus stop, and someone approaches you asking for money, smile brightly and say, "Oh, no, thank you," in the same tone of voice you would if a friendly person offered you a piece of cake. It will confuse the person, and they will likely leave you alone. If they ask again, repeat the sentence again. "Oh, no thanks, I'm good." Smile even more brightly. Every few months I drive by my buddy's truck parked at his work, and think, yay, today is the day to mess with him. I'll open the tailgate or maybe fold a single mirror. Sometimes I'll just raise one windshield wiper so it waves hello to him as he walks out after a long day. He's been complaining about it to me for years. I just smile and say, "You should put up cameras." At a pharmacy, pick up a box of condoms and take it to the cashier. When they ring it up, balk at the price and say that you need to replace it with something cheaper. Come back with plastic wrap and tape. Misuse idioms on purpose. "Oh man, this turned out to be a blessing in the skies." If a bird lands by you and there are people around, crouch down towards the bird and ask, "Did you bring my messages?" And then just go back to what you were doing. Quietly tell a random person, "This is not the appropriate time for this." I had a friend who had a very big house and he spent very little time in most of it. Over the course of several months, I replaced all the pictures in picture frames in these rooms with dinosaur erotica. Act like you work somewhere that you don't. Say, "I don't want to sound racist," and then say something completely positive yet irrelevant. "I don't want to sound racist, but the sun looks lovely on those flowers." In college I had a roommate who was also a good friend. He would go to his parents on the weekends and lock the door to his room. My other roommates and I would give him shit because he knew we wouldn't steal his stuff or anything. So naturally, I learned how to pick locks. We would get into his room and do subtle things like mess up his bed and move things to other places in the room. Every week he would get back and be like, "Did you guys fuck with my stuff?" We would always say, "How would we even do that? You lock your room." We continued to do it the rest of the year. I don't think he ever figured out what was going on lol.